at the time.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at your stage show, and I'm assuming, just off the top of my head, some of your influences are Alice Cooper, as you mentioned.
I love Alice Cooper.
Yeah, Kiss.
Kiss is amazing.
Marilyn Manson.
Of course.
And Rob Zombie. And
Rob
it's just
Zombie.
the show.
I got to meet and play with one of my mentors, people I looked up to in music, Wednesday 13, a couple times.
Right.
And that was awesome. And he was one of the other things that just kept going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If he could keep going and do it on his own, and then for a while do it all on his own,
right?
Then why couldn't I do something like that?
That's.
And then people like Voltaire.
Yeah, I love Voltaire.
I love Voltaire, and I love his music. And if they can do that, what's stopping me?
Right. And you came to this realization when you had that fallout with the band, or did you come to that realization before when you're like, maybe the band's holding me back?
She had enough of me not making music anymore.
Okay.
And she kicked me in the ass and had a long talk with me, and I sat down and I planned how I would do this. How can I do this on my own? How can I record it? What do I need?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the type of person, the way I was raised, you don't go out and buy everything you need. You don't go out and buy all this expensive stuff.
Right.
So I went the cheap route, got the best one that could work for me at the price I could afford. I looked for computers and other stuff on Facebook, Craigslist.
Well, you met her on Facebook. Why not?
Right. It's working out great. So,
seems to be.
And I put together a cheap, inexpensive, full studio for under $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded my whole entire album on it.
That's great.
And the album decided to be more of an art one, to where we experimented in mono instead of doing it in stereo. Do it in the old way.
Okay.
Mono, and then every sound that was done through it, if I didn't have it, I did it like they did in the old days. I would record the sound, I would make the sound, then I would digitize it into my computer, into my keyboard, and then play it that way.
So what's the weirdest sound that you could make with a traditional instrument?
I wouldn't say a traditional instrument, but one of my songs, Shovels, which is also about bullying, is 90% beatbox.
Okay.
And I did a lot of different beatboxing for it, sounds, and then I used different techniques like blowing through like tubes and other things like that. And then I distorted it after that, and that whole entire track is all that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you're losing Hannah because, beatboxing, but it's but trust me, it's all metal. It's all metal.
I've been told it's like early 9 Inch Nails.
Right. Well, and he's somebody that did everything himself.
That's the thing I thought about too. I was like,
right.
Well, he didn't have all these things back then, so how did he do it? Well, he had to go record this stuff and then make it that way.
Right. And Prince and other people that are just the one man bands.
You grew up metal and grunge. You got to do it the old ways.
Yes. And mono. I hear all these things about mono and stereo and vinyl's better and all this other bullshit, and I don't know. I didn't think too much of it, and then I'm gonna go back to grunge. Keep your eyes glazed over, Hannah. Smashing Pumpkins reissued A Door, which is my favorite Smashing Pumpkin album.
Okay.
They did a mono mix, and it sounds so much better. Why is that?
Because you're not 100% trying to over mix it, and then trying to get everything for both sides. It's like, you ever watch a movie that was perfect the way it was, and then they make the HD 4K, and it's so crisp that it looks like British television. Mm-hmm. Some things just should be left the way they are.
Yeah, it just looks weird. They move weird.
Well, it's weird because some of it, because the special effects, they're designed for the picture not to be perfect.
Yeah.
And if you make the picture perfect, you can see the wires. You can see,
all the flaws.
Oh yeah, well that's why porno was rejected HD for a long time. So you see all the zits and all the other shit.
Right.
But no, I digress.
Really, you're gonna watch porn and be looking for zits?
Yeah, right.
You never look for zits; they just appear. But I don't watch a lot of porn. I'm just saying.
That could go down a really bad road.
But go right ahead.
No,
we're talking mono and stereo. We're talking audiophilia here. We're talking. Yes, we are talking mono, stereo, mixing, doing everything yourself. Now, you're going to be going mono in the future?
Well, this one was just for mono.
Right.
I'm going to do slight mono for the EP coming out in October.
Now, what's slight mono?
Or there'll be maybe a song or two that experiments with stereo.
Right.
Because the second album, which releases October next year.
Okay. 2020?
We'll have all stereo experimentals through it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Are you going to put that on vinyl?
I really want to.
Really?
I really want to, but I saw how much it's going to cost, so I have to do some things first.
Really? I thought they were making it cheap to put on vinyl. I guess they priced it out now. Corporate America got a hold of it.
Yeah, and it's popular right now, so if something's popular, they're going to make the prices go all the way up,
most
which
places
is unfair.
Are charging like $2,000, and you have to buy 200 or you can't do an order.
That's ridiculous.
And so you have to find the ones that do it as a specialty, and those are hard to find unless you know somebody.
So if anybody out there, is listening that can hook it up.
Exactly. All over the world. Yeah. I don't. This is by the way, for all your audio files, this is what every album sounds like on vinyl.
I put that behind like 2 of my songs too.
Right. But then you get a CD, it just sounds like the song.
Right.
Or streaming or whatever.
She dances to one of the songs in one of her very well-known dances called The Bloodbath, which she was going to do that night.
Right.
We got cut short.
Did you do the Bloodbath at the Jellyfest?
No.
Oh, please. Tell us about the Bloodbath.
Yeah. Who's your inspiration behind dancing and fashion?
Oh, wow.
Well, forget my question. Answer that. That's a good question.
You, amazing style.
I'm stuck in the 90s.
Good. If you're going to get stuck anywhere, that's a good place to be stuck.
Growing up, like I said, it all goes back to how I wanted to look growing up, and I couldn't. And now I'm like, okay, I can do this now.
Yeah.
And I'm in the place where I can, and I'm like, ooh, I get to have fun and play dress up every day.
Yeah. Yay! But your dance, I've seen you got a lot of dancing gigs coming up.
I have a few, yes. I recently just did the LA Vampire Ball. That was amazing. I'm still very, very thankful to Sebastian and
we've
for hooking that up for me.
We've had Sebastian on the show. I missed this one. I went to the one last year. How was it this year?
It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
My first time up was like 10, 15 minutes after I got there because it was running late. Everybody was.
They're vampires. They don't get out that early.
My first time up on the thing on the box, right at the beginning, I was like so nervous and shaky. I couldn't I was trying to function. Yeah.
Did they make you custom fangs for the show?
They offered. However, at the time, I just needed to get paid instead.
Right. They were going to pay in fangs.
Yeah.
That's Father Sebastian.
I'm okay with that. I would have been 100% okay with it if I didn't need the finances at the time.
I hear you.
But I got asked to come back next year and do it again. And this gig ended up landing me the possible go-go gig at Batcave this weekend.
Possible?
Yeah. Well, I'm dancing as a guest go-go dancer this weekend.
Okay.
And then if it goes well, then I might have a possible permanent spot with them.
Okay, because I love Batcave, so I'm probably gonna swing by. I got something else going on earlier.
You should totally.
I got a show earlier, but I think I'm gonna swing by.
I come hang out.
Batcave.
Gonna be there all night.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta hang out. You've never been to Batcave, have you?
It's my first time actually.
I think I went once with my friend. She was set up on a blind date and didn't go well, so we exited pretty quick. So.
The blind date was at Batcave?
Yeah, with her. So we always bring a girlfriend along and. She
really?
Kind of ran out the back. Yeah, so we didn't get to really see it or enjoy it.
She flies all the way from Chicago to L.A. by herself, and then you go on dates with friends?
It wasn't me. It was my friend. She was on a date.
But you were chaperoning.
So? Designated driver, and I had to go have my fun in the corner. She has hers. Girls have to do that, and it's kind of dangerous,
they do?
too, just meeting a stranger off the internet.
Well, yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't meet a girl on Batcave, but I did, and I went out with her for a year and a half. So
there you go.
Anyway, so
what happened with that?
I lost her to Renaissance Fair, but that's a long story. That happens. We'll talk Renaissance Fair. Don't worry about it. I can tell you guys are nerds. But anyway, so that's great. No, so were you burlesque dancing in Chicago?
No, I started that last year before we got married. In October before we left out with the Untamed Bass Burlesque.
Okay.
And they were kind enough to let me join in, and they loved me so much. They're like, we want to keep you. Be our goth girl. I'm like, okay.
But have you always danced? I mean, you have formal dance training?
I've been dancing adult entertainer, dancing for about 15, almost 16 years.
Okay. Good for you.
Yeah. I've done a few pole competitions back east.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had competitions like that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I don't doubt it. I've seen you dance, at your show, which is and it's hypnotizing. I got to be honest.
Club Harris, they had me, and I did the bloodbath there. You missed that one.
I know. I don't worry. There's plenty. Now I'm on the Mortis train. You'll be seeing me at a lot of shows. Don't worry about it.
I'll be coming as well.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you got 2, possibly 3 new fans here.
Yes.
So I imagine there might come one of these days. But so no. But tell me. So
like
how did you do the pole contest? How did you do in those?
I would either get third or second once or twice. I only did it once at my home club back in Michigan because all the girls were like, "You need to do it," and I'm like, "Fine."
So how do you get into a burlesque troupe? Like you just they knew you from the you had a friend that was with you at an adult.
A friend of mine was working with them as a stage kitten, and they were short a girl performer from one of the shows.
Right.
And she's like, "Hey, do you want to be a guest performer?" Blah blah blah.
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Yeah.
And it just went really well, and they loved me so much they just kept me around.
And now you guys you came out like you said 2015, right? How long before you put her into the show?
First, we agreed there'd be stages of how it all worked. So I was testing how the shows worked, then putting new props in, and then once I got the rhythm of the show, she's been practicing at home with me for certain songs to bring on stage.
I'll bet.
Yeah. And then we're going to have other friends that we know in the dancing community that are going to guest dance at certain shows. So there's going to be more people on the stage working the full routine with the full show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I have a concert coming up that's going to have some brothers of mine, very close musical family, R. Frankenstein, guest appearing in a song with me.
Oh. I told you I'd get it out of him. Okay.
One day coming up later. And then Ryan, who is on his also solo project, Ryan Frankenstein.
Right.
They're going to be playing with me also.
That's great.
So they're going to guest that. There's a song of mine called The Night He Came to Town.
Right.
And a lot of people really like it for its brutality. And I asked Ryan and Chase them. I'm like, hey, would you like to sing here and throw a nice little bass line on stage with me one day? And they're like, yes. I says, all right, let's make this happen. So you'll get to see that sometime in the future. I
look forward to that. I think that's the show. That's the song I sent to you, and you liked it.
I did.
No, I was sorry. I was thinking about her dancing for a second, but no, but where do you want? I mean, where do you want to go with this? I mean, where do you think you can go with this?
I've been asked to do 5 different tours already, and I have to see which ones I can do.
Right.
One tour wants to take me down the Southern Belt, up and around to Chicago, and then back home. The other one wants me to go with them all West Coast, and another one wants me to do the full circle. The other sets want me to do a tour in Mexico. And then I have 2 bands in Europe that want me to tour with them next year.
Yeah, see, I was going to say, I could see I could see it happening here, but I could see really in Europe and South America it really going over because, and maybe you have some insight on this since you are a Romanian gypsy. Why is metal so popular in Europe and South America, probably exponentially so than in America?
Honestly, it's more brutal than American metal.
Yeah.
And with some genres, just please go back to your roots and be a little bit more heavier. Stop selling out.
Yeah, and those countries are less depressed as well.
Less depressed?
Yeah, they're happier, even though the weather's...
They're happier?
Yeah, they did...
Have you been in South America lately?
No, I'm talking about over in, Europe.
Have you been to some places in Europe lately?
Have you been to America lately?
Yeah, but I mean, there's want to part.
Americans are spoiled.
Yeah.
Spoiled, self-entitled.
I hate humans.
Yeah.
No, well, I think we all do. But... interesting. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, but you're probably going to tour the States before you go abroad. I'm guessing.
I want to test out the waters. Hit a couple of venues. I got places and bands already hitting me up everywhere. Like, dude, when you come out here, we'll play with you. In fact, it was really funny. I wrote to one of my idols in more of like a southern metal rock band called Texas Hippie Coalition.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I wrote him. I wrote his personal page because we were friends, And I was like, hey.
The big fat guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy. I love his vocals are amazing.
Right.
And I told him,
I'm just saying I relate, but go ahead.
I was saying, if I'm ever out there, I'd love to come see one of your shows. I'm a big fan. I love your music, man. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. And I says, they're supposed to be doing a festival out there sometime soon. He's like, well, if you're ever out here, let me know. And I says, all right. And I jokingly wrote, I'll buy you a drink and we'll talk. And he says, go ahead. Send me your music, by the way.
Right.
And then he writes me back and says, I totally dig it. If you're ever out here and you can hop on a show, let me know and we'll talk.